Hey guys, we're just gonna give everybody a couple minutes to sign on. So just let me know. Can everybody hear me? Can somebody just give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me? Thank you, Kilo. Okay, we're gonna give them 30 more seconds and then we're gonna get started. All right, guys. We are gonna get started. Everybody ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, or just come on and say, yep, ready, whatever. Give me a sign. Give me a sign. All right, thank you. Got some thumbs up now. Okay, good. All right, guys. So today we're going to go over some defensive tactics. There are some things that I see, and there are many ways to play defense as an individual and as a group, but there are some fundamental concepts that I want to show you. And if what you're doing doesn't work, this is the way that I've done it and have been successful in the past. So we're going to start now. So let's go to share, and we will say I share my screen, share the screen itself, share the sound, and share. Okay, can everybody see my screen now? You can do the thumbs up or whatever if you. Awesome. Okay. Thank you. All right, guys, here we go. So, Soccer 101 Day 3. First of all, time and space. Who can tell me the difference between time and space on a soccer field? Let's do Maddox. Go ahead and describe to me what it means to have time in soccer. And are you chatting? No, I don't see a chat. Maddox, come in, Maddox. Let me know.
Hello?
Yep, there you go. Tell me, what does it mean to have time in soccer?
To have time to dribble, to create space, and to be able to make a clear pass.
Okay, and what contributes to you having time? What's the number one thing?
Space.
Not exactly. So thank you, Maddox. So does anybody want to help him out? What's the number one thing that gives you time, or the thing that's missing that gives you time? Grant, what do you think? What do you think? I'm going to our rocket scientist. Grant, what do you think gives you time? What is the opponent doing that's giving you time? What are they doing or not doing? What are they not doing and that's giving you time?
They're giving you areas to dribble to.
Right, they're giving you areas to dribble to, and
opportunities to pass.
Okay, opportunities to pass. So if they give you areas to dribble to, yeah, I mean, technically you could have more time to possess the ball. Thank you, Grant. Okay, guys, in order to give someone time, you take away pressure. Giving someone time means you're not pressuring them. So in this example, you see the player has the ball in the back, and we'll just give him another player real quick. So the player has the ball in the back, and these guys are here, and all of our players are staying back. That's how we give them time. They can pass the ball anywhere they want, and they have time, right? They have all the time in the world. If we don't pressure, we're giving them time. Now, is any soccer team, let's say it this way. What is the team going to do if you give them time, do you think? We'll say Max. Oh, Max, never mind. You're chatting. Oh, Max, can you chat this? If you can chat it, Max, I'm asking you the question. So, Max, my question is, what can the opponent do with the time you give them? What are 2 things that they're going to do when you give them time? And I'll give you a minute here to type it in, because I know you're in a place you're not able to speak. What are 2 things that the opponent will do with time? Oh, I think he got disconnected. Okay. Yeah, he's in a place with bad reception right now, but he's going to try and rejoin. Okay. Then let's say Kilo. What is the opponent likely to do with time? What are the two things they're probably going to do with time?
Look for options.
Good. Look for options. And what else?
Uh,
Just imagine you're a back. No one is pressuring you, and you have the ball at your feet. What else are you going to do?
move up.
Good. Okay. Right. You could possibly move up. Thank you. Thank you, Kilo. You could possibly move up. You could look for options, but the two practical things that they're going to do are they're going to pass in the back, right? They're going to move the ball. And then eventually, what are they going to try and do? Kind of like Kilo said, they're going to look for options forward. So even though they're passing the ball in the back, I don't think you will ever find a soccer team, even a soccer team who's winning, unless it's like the last 5 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes of the game, and they, no kidding, are just trying to stall. Almost every youth soccer team, high school soccer team, they're going to push the ball forward. That's what they're going to do. So even though you're giving them time back here, the thing that you take away, I'm sorry, that when you give them time, they're going to pass to each other in the back. They might dribble up. They might dribble up with the ball. They have time, right? But eventually they're going to want to come in here and they're going to try and make passes. Now we're going to talk about space. What does it mean? What are two ways that we can take away space? Or what are two ways that we can manipulate space? And we'll say, Juan, tell us, what's one way that we can manipulate or control our opponent's space? What's one way? What's the most common way? First of all, what's the easiest way to control your opponent's space that they play inside of? You there, Juan? Can you tell me how to control the opponent's space? Okay, if not, then we'll jump over to Lance. Can you tell me, there are two ways to control the opponent's space. Tell me what's at least one way that you can control your opponent's space.
You can cut off their passing lanes and pressure them.
Okay, great ideas. Thank you, Lance. So that is a good way. Those are good ways to maybe stop their advance. But when we say control their space, control space, we're talking about number one, parking the bus. When you play back, you give them time, but you take away their space. This is the space they want to play in. This is where they score goals. You take away this, now they have a challenge. Anybody who went to the varsity Pleasanton game last year at the beginning of the season, it was Floresville trying to kick goals. Pleasanton parked the bus. We were not able to score a goal. And that was because they took away space. They said, you can have all the time you want. They were up. They said, you can have all the time you want. Go ahead and pass that ball as much as you want. All the time in the world. We're not going to pressure you there. But we will take away this space that you need to shoot. We took it away. That's what they did. So when we say time, we're talking about them having the ball. There are strategies of high pressure that take the ball away up high. And that's the second way to control space is, so number one, way to control space, park the bus in front of the goal, and you've taken away the most critical space on the field. You don't just play to take away random space. This area here on the wing, that's a space. This area on the wing is a space. What are these spaces called right here? Who knows what this is called? Inside the wing, but not the center channel. What is that called? Come on, guys, we went over the field in one of these Soccer 101 meetings. So if you've been here for like all the meetings, I expect you to know this. You have your wings, your center channel, and then what is this space called? It's a vertical, it's a channel up and down the field. What do we call that? I'm gonna start it. Half, someone finish.
Space.
Thank you. It's a half space. So you're in the wing is a space. Half space, center channel, other half space on the other side, other wing. And there's all this room in the back. There's the final third, there's the middle third. Going on the other side would be their half of the field. The most critical space is the space directly in front of the goal. So when you play soccer, you will not defend all the space. You just have to defend the critical space. The space that matters is that space in front of the goal. Now, the half spaces then matter. And the wings where they can cross, it matters. But it all matters less. This matters most. Maybe after that, the area right here where they can shoot matters next. So right in front of the goal, then right outside the 18-yard box, those are the two most critical spaces. Here in the half space. Now, that's dangerous. Not as dangerous as the first two. And the least dangerous is the wing. 1 and 2. That's the least dangerous in your half, is the wings. And it becomes more dangerous as you come inside. Time and time again, I'm just going to use FHS last year defense as an example. We would defend the wing with more than one person sometimes. And we would leave, and I'm going to talk more about this as we go on. We would leave the center open. Every time I see players running off to go defend the wing, it makes me feel sick inside. Sometimes even this player is not even covering the center on a fast break and on a counterattack. And I'm like, this is the most important part of the whole field. Defend in front of the goal. That is the most critical. A better defense would look something like this, where this player is able to pressure and cover, but they're still covering the space here. That's a better looking defense to me. You're gonna have one-on-ones on the wing sometimes, but the worst thing you can do is chase the wing and leave the middle open, because that's exactly where they want to go. So when I say space, I don't mean defend every space. If you try to defend every space on the field, what space are you defending? I'm asking that question. If you try to defend every space on the field, what are you actually going to succeed at defending? And Coach Jesus, I'll ask you that. If you try to defend every space on the field, what will you succeed at defending?
I'm honestly not sure.
Good. No, you're right. So thank you, Coach Jesus. What he's saying is nothing. If you're yellow and you try to defend every space on the whole field, you will end up succeeding at nothing. Give me a thumbs up if you've heard this phrase before. If everyone is special, No one is special. Give me a thumbs up if you heard that before. Thank you. If you try to defend every space, you will defend no space. The most important space that we can defend is the space in front of our own goal. And the two critical ones are here in front of the goal. Then right at the 18-yard box. After that, yes, you have areas here where they can shoot in the half spaces. And then the least important are the wings. That's the least important space. And then everything else here doesn't, that's even way less important. So this in front of the goal is the most important space. And I want you guys to know that. And I want you to implement that when you play the game. And I want you to tell your friends that when you're on the field. I want you to let them know, because a lot of your friends aren't here. Let them know this is where we defend. This is what really matters. How many of you have heard of the 300, the Spartans? Thumbs up if you've heard of the Spartans, 300. All right, Lance, explain very, very quickly why the 300, what they did at the Battle of Thermopylae.
I really don't know.
Okay, no worries. Does anybody know? Thumbs up if you know about the Battle of Thermopylae, what they made the movie 300 about. Okay, no worries, guys. So, in the Battle of Thermopylae, the Spartans, there were only, let's just say, oh, why would I say, let's just say, there were literally 300. So there's 300 Spartans, and then there's an army of like 50,000 Persians. The Spartans knew that they weren't able to fight all of them at once. So they defended a piece of key terrain, a critical space. And in that space, only so many Persians could come in and fight them at a time. So instead of facing 50,000 and being surrounded, they only had to fight about the same amount as they had. And so they were constantly fighting and fighting and fighting and just killing the Persians. And eventually the Persians found a way to get behind them. But the point of that story is that the Spartans knew that there is some space that matters more than other spaces. And that's what that's what I want us as a team to understand, that the space in front of the goal is the most important space. Now let's recap real quick. We talked about time and we talked about space. Oh, and before we go on, boys, if you get kicked out, go to the same link to get back in. Everybody understand? Just go back to the same exact link. It's going to bump us out at 40 minutes and then just go back into the link and we'll finish the last 20 minutes. So, let's say, so time. So, Maddox, what does it mean for the opponent to have time? Maddox. Oh, Maddox is gone. Okay. Oh, wait. Did he chat it? Oh, he did leave. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So, Kilo, what does it mean to have time? Kilo. What does it mean to have time?
I'm trying to think. Hold on.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
I don't remember.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah,
Who can help him out? Grant, what does it mean to have time?
Isn't it time to move the ball around?
Thank you. Exactly. Time to move the ball around, right? We're giving you all the time in the world to do what you want with the ball. Now, if we take away space, what's one example of taking away space, Juan?
They don't have time to shoot and pass.
Right. They don't have space. They don't have space to shoot or pass into the most critical area in front of the goal. So that was one way. I did not show you the second way. So earlier I asked Lance how to control the opponent's space. And we said one was you take up the critical space. The second way to control the space that the opponent plays in is to have a line, your defensive line. Your defensive line determines where they can play up to the point that they kick the ball. So for example, if your defensive line is back here, you are giving them all this space to play in. You are saying, yes, you can play anywhere you want here. But it's kind of like you are a sideline. You are a field marking. If you move up here, they have no choice but to play in line with you. And anybody who's in front is offside. So the first way to control your opponent's space is to take space away by occupying the space itself, just like so. You're occupying the space and they can go anywhere they want, but once they try to come into that space, they're going to have trouble. The second way to control your opponent's space is to, no kidding, restrict them from where they can move by setting your defensive line. That, everything but behind that, this is space they are not allowed to play in until the ball is kicked. Then that changes the game. But all that space, until they kick the ball, all that space is off limits. So that's the second way, and that's typically a high pressure situation. Any questions about time and space? Because it's critical to understand that. Okay, moving on. Knowing how their backs play. I have seen it before where they pass and they pass and they pass and they pass and they pass, and then this back starts dribbling up. Tell me, Maddox, what do you do if the back starts dribbling up? If you're this yellow player here, and this player starts dribbling up, and you see this player, what do? Oh, Maddox, gosh dang it, he's gone. Okay. All right. Lance, what would you do in that situation? You're this yellow player. You see this player, oh, sorry. You see this player on the wing, and you know you got this guy behind you. What do? This player's dribbling up now. What do?
I would get in front of that passing lane and start pressuring him.
Okay, thank you, Lance. That is what most people think they should do, is to get, and trust me, it's taken me to fail over and over to finally understand what I need to do. What did we say that the critical space was, guys? What's the most critical space?
Inside the 18-yard box.
Correct. In front of the goal, in front of the 18-yard box. Yep. And then we said, as you go out, it's less important. Now tell me this. Is the space closer to your goal or farther away from your goal more important space? Which one?
Closer to goal.
Correct. Closer to goal. Now, yes, in 7v7, the rules are not the same as a regular game. But if you see this center back here, he's keeping this player onside. If he wasn't there and you could be here, that's different, right? But the point is that he's onside no matter what, whether you're playing 11v11 or 7v7. Lance, if you go up, they will literally just pass the ball around you. And now we've given up more important space. And then this player has to adjust and decide, do I take him or do I take him? This player should drop, this player should drop. This player has to drop all the way down at that point. So this is very critical for you guys to understand. You have to know how their backs play. It is highly unlikely, Lance, and this is for everybody. I'm just saying Lance because Lance is the one who answered it, and everyone could have answered the same way. So please just understand, it's just for learning. If this player takes the ball up, they are almost certainly just wanting to draw you in to pass behind you. They're in the back for a reason. They're probably not going to be superstar ball handling and shooting and stuff like that. It's just usually the forwards, they have that ball skill. So this guy's whole job, his whole life, since he was 3 years old, you dribble up and you pass it to one of the guys that are forward. I played wingback with the adult 11v11 men. I, no kidding, always dribble up to a certain point and pass the ball off. It is very rare for me to take the ball all the way up to the goal line and take a shot. Now, that's why I say, know how their backs play. If you know this player is going to move in and do those kinds of things, that changes the situation. But 9 times out of 10, this player is just trying to find a way to pass to the next guy. If you move up, if you're Lance or if you're Kilo, if you're Roston, if you move up to take that player, they will just pass behind you. I'm glad that we talked about this because it is critical for you guys to realize that the center space in front of the goal is the most important. The wing is the least important, but this is way less important than down here. You do not want to give this away, but Lance is correct. If you did choose to take that player on, you would cover the passing lane. That is 100% accurate and true. So good job on that, Lance. That is what you would want to do. But in today's game, it is very likely that even if you try to cover it, they will still find a passing lane. Sorry, I have to plug my computer in once. 5 minutes till we get kicked out. And remember, when you get kicked out, just come right back. That's the risk that we are not able to afford, guys. So we are not. Oh shoot, what happened to it? We are not going to move up. We got to stay back and defend that very important space. You must know that how their backs play. That's important. Give me 1 second. Screen share. Okay. All right. So moving on. Knowing how their backs play. So what was the key to all of this that we were talking about? And let's say Kilo. What's the key? What's the key here? When a player has the ball in the back and they're dribbling up, what's the most important? What are some key principles about playing this situation? And if not Kilo, let's do Grant. What are some key principles of being in this situation? You're on the wing, the back starts dribbling the ball toward you, but you're marking someone. What are some key principles of this situation?
Don't get drawn up.
Exactly. Don't get drawn up. The only way you could play it that way is if everybody shifted either like this, which you can already see just creates more open space, or if you went like this, which by the time he's coming over, the ball's already gone. It's too long of a distance, and that's why we say stay back. If anybody's gonna step up to that player, it's the midfielder. The midfielder or the forward, they are the ones who can step up and play in that space. Okay. Moving on to the next. I'm gonna try and go a little bit faster too, because so we don't run out of time. But pressure and cover, guys. So remember, 2 minutes till we get kicked out, and then we jump back in. Pressure and cover and being compact. So pressure and cover. Yesterday, we had players kind of like this. And their player did this to us. He went, got past you, got past you, got past you, got past you, goal. We could have changed that by pressuring and covering. So this player here behind, he goes to get past one. Oh, I always do that. This player goes to get past one. And if he does, the second player's too close. He knocks the ball free or takes it or clears it. Remember, you can clear the ball. You can clear the ball out. That's fine. Kick the ball out. That's completely fine. You can make a tackle. You can clear the ball. You can steal the ball so you possess it. That's fine too. And then you change possession. But the pressure and the cover is critical. Here's one thing, is that if we mark every player, it's like basketball. You're just leaving them open to just go down. So you're not marking all the players out here that don't matter. Mark the players in the space that matters. Pressure and cover where it matters. This can be a pressure and cover here, and everyone else can get compact. That's an example of being compact when you're defending. Here, there's pressure and cover. And even if they had other players, if their other players are outside, that's fine. This is the most important space. If he wants to pass all the way out here to this player, now we can shift. But still, we're defending and we're being compact in the right areas. And that's critical, that we're compact in the right areas. Notice how compact means you're close together. So keep that in mind. When a player on the wing, you might not be covering until they get closer because it's not as important. Anytime a player has the ball in